Flock safety is not going to disappear tomorrow. The resistance is not going to disappear either. Cities are canceling contracts. Lawsuits are challenging the network. Legislatures are debating restrictions. Meanwhile, Flock keeps installing new cameras and expanding the system. Something eventually has to give. The question is not simply whether Flock safety wins or loses. The real question is, what is America willing to put up with, and what does this surveillance network ultimately become? There are several possible endings. Some are victories for Flock. Some are victories for the resistance. Most of them fall somewhere in between. Wins and losses for both sides. Let me show you what these outcomes actually look like. The first one is complete destruction. Destruction means the cameras come down. Contracts get canceled across the country. State legislatures ban automatic license plate readers, or ALPRs, outright. Courts rule that the searches were unconstitutional under the Fourth Amendment. Flock Group Incorporated loses its customer base and its funding all in the same year. For the supporters, that ending looks like losing a tool they believe solves crimes. For the resistance, it looks like a country where your vehicle is not logged every time you drive past a pole, and freedom. Surrender is the same story in reverse. The cameras stay up, and the network keeps growing. The lawsuits fail. The city council stopped putting it on the agenda. Searching a national database for the history of everywhere a person or vehicle has been becomes routine when crimes are suspected of being committed. For the supporters, that ending looks like a win that no one has to argue about anymore. For the resistance, it looks like losing quietly, one contract renewal at a time, and the normalization of mass surveillance. Here is something worth taking note of before we go any further. When we went looking for people publicly defending this system, we found very few of them. We found critics of Flock safety almost everywhere. Council meetings, people blocking cameras on street corners, comments across social media, etc. The opposition shows up in numbers, and the defense is mostly the company itself, the agencies writing the checks, and those who are paid to install the equipment. That is what our research turned up. It is not a scientific poll, so don't take it as gospel. Take it as an observation and not a measurement. Neither of those two endings is actually where this thing is heading. There are several other outcomes than complete destruction or surrender for Flock or the resistance. Those other outcomes may be containment. Flock survives, but its network is limited by warrants, short retention periods, strict search purposes, and bans on national default sharing. Fragmentation. The national network breaks into separate local systems. Cities keep cameras, but outside agencies cannot search them automatically or directly. Democratic control. Communities vote on deployments, contracts expire unless renewed publicly, and residents can force removal through ordinances and/or referendums. Technical redesign. Cameras remain, but identifying data is processed locally. Non-matching scans are deleted quickly, and access requires stronger verification methods. Independent oversight. Every search is audited by an outside body. Misuse triggers automatic suspension, and officials face real civil or criminal consequences. Narrow coexistence. ALPR is restricted to clearly defined purposes such as stolen vehicles, Amber Alerts, and active violent crime investigations. Market replacement. Cities abandon Flock for providers offering stricter privacy controls, or governments build systems that do not participate in national databases. Legal settlement. Courts establish a workable boundary, perhaps allowing individual roadside observations while requiring warrants for aggregated movement histories. Gradual attrition. Flock is not destroyed all at once. Contracts expire, cities withdraw, investors lose confidence, and the network shrinks over time. Public acceptance with safeguards. Opposition weakens because meaningful protections make the system less threatening and easier to justify. The direction this conflict is actually going appears to be compromise through limitation. The surveillance system remains, but loses the unrestricted scale and access that produced the opposition in the first place. There will likely be an attempt to establish enough compromise to appease both sides, the supporters and the resistance. Everything you just heard also applies to Motorola Solutions, Axon Enterprise, Recor, Genetec, and every other vendor in this business. The logo on the camera may change, but the outcome will not. What side are you on? We would love for you to tell us in the comments. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, then subscribe and hit the bell. Also, check out sendsweep.com to download the SendSweep Lite messaging app completely free today. Thank you for watching. Peace out.